The Indians finally got to Tiger starter Armando Galarraga thanks to the long ball. Tonight, the Tribe tries to make it 5 in a row behind Mitch Talbot next on Sports Time Ohio. It's a beautiful day for baseball in downtown Cleveland. So in the immortal words of Hall of Famer Ernie Banks, let's play two. Indians and the Tigers wrap up the home portion of the schedule here at Progressive Field. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We were rained out last night, so the Indians will get a chance to extend that winning streak today. And they're riding high thanks to the big bats, big home runs, equal big innings.
Well, when you looked at their last win, Matt Laporta got it started not only with the first hit, but he drove in the first run. And then Luke Carlin comes up. He will tie the game here, make it a 2-2 ball game. And then to cap off the inning, Travis Hafner hits a big 3-run home run. That's a 5-run inning. They did it back-to-back days, and that's why they have 4 wins in a row. You can see averaging over 6 runs a ball game. Their pitching has been very good. They played good defense as well, only made 1 error, and that's why you win 4 straight games.
All right, let's take a look at our pitching matchup for this afternoon's Game 1 of this doubleheader. It's brought to you by Gatorade. 3 fuels for 3 stages of the game. Gatorade has evolved. That's G.
It'll be Max Scherzer going for the Detroit Tigers. He's pitched very well after the All-Star break, 6-4 and a fine 223 earned run average. Mitch Talbot has scuffled in the second half. He's going to try and end his year on a positive note. 1 win since June 27th.
All right, the Indians look to continue their mastery over the Tigers here at home this year. We'll be back with all the play-by-play action coming up next. Beautiful day here in downtown Cleveland as the Indians and the Tigers will play a doubleheader after getting washed out last night. Mitch Talbot making his warm-up tosses on the hill for the Tribe today, looking for his 10th win of the year. Let's look at the starting 9 for Jim Leland's Tiger Club. Austin Jackson, the leadoff man, followed by Will Rhymes, then Johnny Damon. Ryan Rayburn batting cleanup, Don Kelly, Johnny Peralta, Brennan Bosch, Brandon Inge, and Alex Avila.
And today's starting pitcher, brought to you by the Indians Team Shops. It'll be Mitch Talbot on the mound for start number 28 this year. Trying to end it on a positive note. He's looking for double digits in wins. He's 9-13, a 4.61 ERA. This year against the Tigers, 0-1. Or excuse me, 1-1. So he is coming back. His last start, July 17th against the Tigers, in a no decision where he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 1 run.
Austin Jackson steps in, all ready to get us underway. Mitch Talbot delivers low for ball 1 to start the game. Jackson batting .299. Pitch is outside 2-0. 66 degrees, our game time temperature. Our achievement of the game brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in us all. And a terrific rookie campaign.
About Harvey Keene with 209 hits in a rookie year. Harvey, I played for him in Milwaukee. He was the manager. Yeah, he has had an outstanding year, Austin Jackson.
We'll definitely get votes and quite a bit of consideration for Rookie of the Year. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be tough to overlook Neftali Feliz of the Texas Rangers, their closer with 38 saves.
You're right. I'm looking this way, but at the Sporting News, when they give the rookie pitcher of the year, I think Jackson will win the player of the year and Feliz will win the pitcher of the year.
Big hop for Marte at third. Throws out Jackson one away.
Let's check out the Indians' defense behind Talbot this afternoon. In the outfield, it's going to be Crow in left, Brantley in center, Chews in right. It'll be Marte at third, Cabrera at short, Valbuena is at second, Laporte at first, and Carlin is behind the plate.
And a first pitch strike to Will Rhymes. 2 for 3 with a double in the series opener. And a big bouncing ball to first. Laporta with the flip. 2 away. The umpires today, Tim Welke calling the balls and strikes. Alan Porter is at first base. Bill Welke at second. Mike DeMuro is at third. Jim Reynolds will be back for game 2 behind the plate.
Well, Cabrera not in the lineup. He is not going to play the rest of the year. Miguel Cabrera with a high ankle sprain, who was injured the first game of this series, back at first base on a pickoff play.
Johnny Damon 0 for 5 in the series opener. Punches the ball toward left. Long run for Trevor Crow, and he makes the grab, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. Indians coming to bat when we come back. Indians coming to bat, bottom of the first inning. The Tribe starting lineup presented by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Michael Brantley leads it off, followed by Asdrubal Cabrera and Shin-Soo Choo. Travis Hafner, Matt Laporta, and Trevor Crow in the middle. Andy Marte, Luis Valbuena, and Luke Carlin round it out. Max Scherzer delivers up high, ball 1 to Michael Brantley, 1 for 3 with a double in game 1 of the series. There's a strike to even the count of 1-1. Max Scherzer has been throwing the ball very well for Detroit. Fastball sails high. Scherzer has won his last 2 starts, pitching a combined 15 2/3 innings, allowing 2 earned runs.
Yeah, 2 starts ago, he had 11 punch-outs against the White Sox in 8 innings. He's really had a good second half coming over, and that first time through, he struggled early part of the year. They sent him down to Toledo. He made a couple of starts, and when he came back, he's been a different guy.
In the hole, backhanded by Kelly. The long flip is in time for out number 1.
You know, when you look at his numbers over the year, he's making his 31st start, 12-10. Not bad for a young pitcher in this league. A 3.40 ERA, which is very good. 190 innings and 2/3, 181 strikeouts. So he averages 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He is 1-2 against the Indians and a 5.29 ERA. Both losses for Scherzer have come in this ballpark.
Max Scherzer went into the All-Star break this year with an ERA of 4.61. Since then, his ERA is 2.23 in 14 starts after the All-Star break, which has dropped it all the way down, as you mentioned, to 3.40 for the year. Back to the mound. Easy play for Scherzer. 2 down.
Let's check out that Tigers defense behind Scherzer, brought to you by Huntington Bank. It's Rayburn, Jackson, and Bosch in the outfield. Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, and Kelly on the infield. Avila behind the plate.
Shin-Soo Choo batting third. In the series opener, Choo was 0 for 2, but the Tigers did walk him twice. And the 0-1 missed inside. The reason I bring up Scherzer's second half numbers, Rick, is that so many pitchers, even the good ones, will really tail off in the second half as the innings pile up and you get fatigued at times. But Scherzer seems to have gotten stronger as the season has gone along. Well,
and they got him from the Diamondbacks, so he changed leagues this year. You know, so it was an adjustment for him. You know, before the break, look at the 16, the break. He still had 6 wins, but he's got a good arm. He throws in the mid-90s, a nice slider. He's a power pitcher and can also be a strikeout pitcher. And I'm sure he's learned a lot from Justin Verlander, who will be pitching in game number 2 of this doubleheader.
He has a really methodical and smooth delivery, and then just it seems at the last moment that arm speed really picks up and the ball just jumps out of his hand. Two-two pitch. One-hop smash past Kelly. And Choo is aboard with the 2-out single. Here's our great clip of the game, brought to you by Great Clips on Monday night. Travis Hafner, launches a 3-run homer. Relax, you're at Great Clips. Hafner now with a dozen dingers on the year. He's driven in 48 for the season. Hafner saying, you know, last season, this year he feels like he's healthier than he was last year, and he expects to be even healthier in 2011. A fastball strike. Missed inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. What you have to hope for if you're the Indians is that with that health comes better productivity. You can see that since the All-Star break, the average has definitely improved. But the Indians would definitely like to see more power and more pop from Hafner next year. Not to mention, more games, more at-bats, being able to play every day.
Well, that's the thing right there. If you're going to have a DH, he's got to be a constant in that lineup. And if he's going to be in there, you have to drive in runs. I mean, because that's what you want. You want an everyday lineup. That's how a lineup gets to know one another. That's how it gets good.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down and a runner at first here in inning number 1.
Well, and Manny this year hasn't been playing them against left-handers as well. So, I don't know how that's going to shake down next year.
Runner goes, and on the 2-2, it's hit past third base. Down the line, Chu will go to third. After it takes a wide turn, he'll hold with a long 2-out single. And Indians are at the corners with 2 down here in the first.
Well, you're going to see a pretty good fastball down and away here by Scherzer, and Hafner just stayed on it and hits it down the third baseline. That's one way. You see how they were shifted. You certainly can beat it that way. Stay on the baseball, hit it down the line. Chu gets to third base, but Rayburn held Hafner to a single. So it's first and third now with 2 outs after back-to-back singles.
Matt Laporta turned the game around Monday night with his home run to straightaway center field off Armando Galarraga. That was the first run the Indians scored this year in 20 innings of work against Armando Galarraga. And it started an avalanche of runs on Monday night. The Tribe would go on to score 5 times in that 5th, capped by Hafner's 3-run blast we just showed you a moment ago. Inside 2-0 to Matt Laporta. Indians have won 6 straight against Detroit here at home. Looking to jump out to the early first inning lead here. And it's 3-0 to Laporta. Trevor Crowe would be next. Now the 3-0 pitch. And it's up and in, ball 4. So he really missed badly with a number of those pitches to Laporta to load the bags. And now Alex Avila to go out and chat with Max Scherzer. And we're also going to get pitching coach Rick Knapp coming out as well.
It's almost like his arm angle changed after he had the base runners on, going up against the right-hander after facing the back-to-back left-handers.
Must have been something mechanical, because that's usually when the pitching coach goes out early.
First right-hander he faced. So, he saw all 4 left-handed hitters, and now all of a sudden the right-hander comes up. He was nowhere close.
Left-handed hitting Trevor Crowe steps up. Crowe riding a 13-game hitting streak. Batting .345 over that streak. A new career high for Crowe. And now looking for a 2-out hit to put the Indians on the board first here today. Ball 1 to Crowe as he tries to come through in a bases loaded situation. Just 2 for 11 on the year with the bags filled for Crowe. Already a 25 pitch first inning for Max Scherzer. That strike evens the count of 1-1. Now remember, Scherzer in his last 8 starts has struck out 61 and walked only 13. So that 4-pitch walk to Laporta, something they haven't seen much of. And he misses again, 2-1, and all of a sudden he's struggling to find it here in the first inning.
Well, and it's funny because he retired the first 2 batters on 8 pitches, and then it's deep into the count to Chu, got the base hit. Hafner did, and then the 4 straight pitches to Laporta.
The 2-1 caught the outside part of the plate, and the count evens up at 2-2. Chu is at third, Hafner at second, Laporta at first. Outfield short and around toward left. And Crow fights it off. Scherzer ready now with a 2-2. And he strikes him out. Indians leave him loaded, no score after one.
Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. By Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers.
Second inning here in Cleveland. Ryan Rayburn looks at a first pitch strike. Indians pitchers, going back to the series opener, have retired the last 11 Tiger hitters in a row. With the injury to Miguel Cabrera, that certainly has altered this Tiger lineup. Tiger lineup that's already lost to Maglio Ordonez, Carlos Guillen,
right.
Brandon Inge missed some time, a big chunk of the season and a key stretch.
Well, what you're doing, you're taking an MVP out of the lineup is what you're doing.
First strikeout for Talbot, one down here in inning number 2.
Talbot comes back, good changeup. Gets Rayburn to swing over the top. That's been Mitch's problem in the second half, is spotting his fastball to get ahead in the count, and then able to go ahead and work his off-speed or secondary pitches.
Jim Leland, Tigers manager, grew up in Perrysburg, Ohio, and was an Indians fan as a youngster. Made his first trip to Old Municipal Stadium over 50 years ago to watch the Tribe for the very first time. He grew up watching Larry Doby, Al Rosen, Rocky Colavito, and he's always been a fan of the big slugger. And he says, quote, "Give me the guys who can drive him in from first base. I like slugging percentage. There's a lot of runners in a baseball game, and it's driving them in that matters." And never was that more apparent than in the series opener when the Tigers had all the hits.
Right.
But couldn't drive them in. They didn't get the big hit, and the Indians did.
Well, everybody likes the sluggers or the home run hitters, you know. Earl Weaver lived it. Look, give me a 3-run homer and solid pitching, and you'll win.
And a pack of smokes.
But you have to, a couple of packs.
There's a fly ball to deep center. Back goes Brantley, and he runs it down 2 away. Time now for the AT&T trivia question. AT&T, rethink possible. Since 1990, three Tigers have had multiple 30-homer, 100 RBI seasons. 3 of them. Two down for Johnny Peralta. Is Cecil Fielder on that list? Big Daddy. Remember, he hit the 50-homer season.
Right.
Back when it was, nobody was hitting 50
right.
homers.
That's exactly right. Back in the 90s. Early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah. Remember that one ball he hit at Cleveland Stadium almost hit the bleachers?
Well, yeah, came
one
close.
off the
Nobody
wall,
ever hit it into
yeah.
the bleachers, but he came as close as anybody.
Johnny Peralta, 15 dingers, 80 driven in. Fouls it back. And the count is 1-2. Peralta in his first game in Cleveland since the Indians traded him in late July Monday night. Went 2 for 4. And he smacks that one to left field. Now 3 for 5 in the series. Tigers' first hit, a 2-out base runner for Brennan Bosch. Tonight at 11, join Jim Donovan, Andre Knott, and Tony Grossi for the GMC Berea Report. They'll preview the Browns-Bengals game and update you on all the developments. They'll talk about Jake Delhomme. Will he play this Sunday or not? Will it be Seneca Wallace once again under center? We'll hear from both Coach Eric Mangini and Delhomme himself. A little blooper's going to fall in left.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Peralta with a big turn, but he holds at second base.
That's perfectly placed right there off the end. Bosch having a nice rookie year. Finds himself a base hit off the end of the bat. So now it's the Tigers' turn. With 2 outs, they get back-to-back hits. He was fooled on that breaking ball.
And it brings up Brandon Inge with 2 on and 2 out. Inge, 11 homers, 67 ribbies. The next time we see Brendan Inge, the question will be, will it be in a Tigers uniform? And that will be determined after the season ends. Jim Leland, Dave Dombrowski, they've been meeting here in Cleveland, going over their roster, looking at what type of improvements they feel they need to make next year. Indians are doing the same thing. Manny Acta and Chris Antonetti meeting to go over the roster and talk to the players individually. And that's always one thing, I think, Rick, that the Indians have prided themselves on, especially under Mark Shapiro's tenure as GM. And that's being upfront, being honest with players at season's end, letting them know where they stand. And it's not always the easiest thing for a player to hear what he has to hear as opposed to what he wants to hear.
Well, that's true. They have their exit meetings as well, and they have their meetings coming into spring training. They meet with each and every individual prior to going in and going out on the field, and they do the same thing as you exit before you go home, things you have to work on. You know, not only your workout regimen, but
Did you guys have exit interviews when you played?
Yeah. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. They threw you out. No, they didn't have that.
The 1-2 pitch.
Exit
interviews.
No, because we were all pretty much signed to 1-year deals, and you didn't have a contract, so you were gone.
A lot of times the teams you finish with bore little resemblance to the one you started the next year with.
Well,
2 on, 2 out here in the second inning. 1-2 count for Inge. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. You didn't have an off-season workout programs that were...
No, you just did your own thing, really.
2-2 pitch. Fouled away.
Yeah, you did. You had a job.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. I don't know when what year that changed, but there were, for a long time, guys needed that off-season job to supplement the income.
I'd say it started right around the 90s.
You think it was even that late?
Yeah. Sometime maybe in the mid to late 80s.
Now the set in the 2-2. Fouled away. And while I'm sure, obviously, there were a select few, the superstars who had the big contracts that could probably afford to not have to worry about working in the offseason. But for the overall rank and file, I mean, the major league minimum wasn't to the point where they could just focus on baseball year round, probably, as you mentioned, till at least the mid to late 80s.
There you go, a little skipper.
Coming back.
You hang out, there may be enough foul balls for everybody here in the early.
First and second with 2 down, and the 2-2 to Inge. And a full count. .30 pitches so far for Mitch Talbot. 21 have been strikes. This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat for Brandon Inge. Alex Avila waits on deck. Runners will be off on the 3-2. Swung on and missed, and the inning is over. Talbot with a couple of Ks. Tigers leave a couple stranded. No score, middle of the second. Andy Marte, Luis Valbuena, and Luke Carlin. Fouled back, and this will find the seats. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Line drive just over the head of the shortstop Peralta. And Andy Marte with a leadoff single here in inning number 2.
Indians already with 3 hits. Their first time through, 3 hits out of their first 7 hitters. Marte just gets it over the head of Peralta. You know Johnny wanted to jump up there and try and take it away from him, but couldn't get up high enough.
Now Valbuena 1 for 4 Monday night. High fly ball, routine in right field. Brennan Bosch, one down.
Well, Terrace Club's gourmet catering atmosphere makes it a perfect location for your corporate or private holiday party. Discounts are available for Terrace Club members, suite holders, and club seat holders. Make this year's holiday event really special. Call 216-420-4840 and reserve a date.
Here is Luke Carlin. He homered Monday night. But of more notoriety after the ball game was the fact that he tried to pick off Miguel Cabrera at first base with a throw. And Cabrera, in trying to hurry back to the bag, rolled his ankle. Had x-rays after the ball game. He did not suffer a fracture, but as Rick told you earlier, he's been shut down now for the rest of the year. Tom Brookins, the first base coach, said, you know, in that situation, he panicked. And he trying to get back to the bag as quick as he could. He just rolled it awkwardly going into first base. And then he kind of looked back at Carlin. And then after the ball game was perplexed at why Carlin was trying to throw him out at first. And he made the comment, what is he trying to impress people so he can make the team next year?
Well, the thing of it is, you got to be ready, because if you're out there on the bases and you have an opportunity to try and get it out, you're going to do it.
Rhymes fumbles the ball at second and won't get the double play. They do get the hitter. Marte goes into scoring position, and the inning stays alive.
Rhymes looked like tried to hurry it a little bit. Bobbled the ball, but he was still able to get Carlin at first base. He wanted to turn it, but you got to catch it first. But he gets on top of it and still gets it out.
Carlin, for his part, after that play on Monday night, said that he was alerted earlier in the dugout. You know, watch him when he's at first base. He's a little bit lazy going back. So he said, I took a shot. I didn't even take a shot at anybody.
Close. I mean, it was very close. Matter of fact, I thought he could have been out.
We both thought it looked like they got him, yeah.
But, you know, when you're out there on the field and the game's going on, you got to expect anything. And I think he just felt, hey, they're not going to throw behind me. I'm not going anywhere. No, you're not going anywhere, but you better be heads up.
Big hop for Rhymes. Throws on the run, and the inning is over. 2 in the books, no score. Stay tuned later in the game and see our Miller taste greatness moment. Top of the third here at Progressive Field, Alex Avila, the number 9 hitter, will lead off. Then it's Austin Jackson and Will Rhymes. Avila, a .234 hitter on the year. 7 homers, 31 driven in. Mitch Talbot fires and a first pitch strike. Avila went 1 for 3 in the series opener on Monday. Missed inside.
Detroit, after this doubleheader tonight, will head on to Baltimore and close out the season. But they do not have tomorrow off. They've got a 4-game series closing out the season. Indians with tomorrow off.
Down low. 2 balls and a strike. Swung on and missed to even the count of 2-2. Way outside, 2-2. Payoff pitch. Lazy fly left center. Brantley stumbled coming in. I don't know if he hit something. He looks back. Crow ends up making the catch, but Brantley got his feet tangled up, and he almost went to the turf as he broke in on that ball.
Well, a lot of rain out here yesterday, and I know this field drains beautifully. Let's check it out and see if you see anything. You see if he slips. There it was. Some turf came up. Still wet out there. Still wet out there.
As you said, this field drains well, so all the standing water's gone, but the grass has still got to be the dirt a little damp.
Hey, it rained all day.
Bouncing ball. It gets past Talbot, and it's through for a base hit. Austin Jackson, his 3rd hit in the series. Watch Talbot throw his glove. He almost knocked this ball down, just missed it.
Well, with your body going one way, that arm's coming around, and he's just going to continue to fling it up there, and it just gets past. So Jackson gets his first hit, 180th of the year for Austin Jackson.
Will Rhymes bounced out to first his first time up. Jackson can fly. He's got 26 steals. Pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Marte cut of the grass at 3rd. Talbot fires over, but Jackson back standing easily. The set by Talbot in the 0-1. Pitch out, nothing doing. Rick, when you think back early in your career, when you had the wheels and you could fly and you were stealing bases, did you rely simply on your speed, or were you able to learn about pitchers' moves and catchers throwing?
It takes a while. It takes a while to learn with their moves, and until you face them. You know, guys in your division you're going to see them a lot, like 18 times a year, and you'll have a pretty good idea because you can watch them, maybe 4 or 5 times a year when you're playing against them. But it takes a while. Get to know counts, who's hitting, situations. You know, and you don't run just to run. You got to pick the right time, the right counts.
Well, one would assume that Jackson, with the kind of wheels he has that so-called green light. If he feels he can steal, he can go.
Well, now's a good time to run 2-1.
He holds.
But you also have the hole open for Rhymes, the left-handed hitter right here. And you got to take into consideration that Cabrera's not in the lineup now. So they may want to get aggressive. There is one out. You don't want to make any outs on the bases, so you want to be sure if you're going to steal it. Talbot does a pretty good job, though, of changing his rhythm for base runners. One of the better ones for the Indians.
Runner holds again, and the ball is hit in the air left center. Crow is there, the left fielder. Makes the grab. 2 down. Time now for our Subway Fresh Face of the game. Bryce Stoll, 42 games at both Kinston, Akron, and Columbus. Went 3-1, 2.14 ERA out of that bullpen, 102 punch-outs. Subway Fresh Face of the game. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. 2 down for Johnny Damon, who flied out to left his first time up.
On the year, base runners have stolen 4 bases out of 14. So that's why Talbot does a nice job. He'll hold the ball, he'll throw to first, he'll quick pitch you. A guy, and he, for a rookie coming up, he learned how to do that pretty much down in the minor leagues because he paid his dues over there in the Tampa organization.
Good pitch in for a strike. Gets ahead of Damon.
A lot of times when a young pitcher comes to the big leagues,
it's the last thing.
That's one of the last things that they have to learn before they get, become a major leaguer, and it's all part of the control the running game. Sure, you talk about it down there, but it's a little different at this level.
The 0-1 swung on and missed, nothing into the count. Well, Rick, I think back to just recent history. Both C.C. Sabathia and Cliff Lee, both left-handed pitchers. But young pitchers earlier in their career had a tough time with the running game,
did.
even though they were both left-handed.
Yeah, until if a left-hander came in here and gave them a little different thought process on how to do it.
That would be Terry Mulholland.
That would be correct. And it's not picking guys off is what you're trying to do. You're just trying to keep them from stealing. And, just keeping the thought in their mind of a defensive thought as opposed to saying aggressive. We can run on him. Let's, put the pressure on him.
Swung on and missed. And Mitch Talbot with a good, strong inning of work gets his 3rd strikeout. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless in Cleveland. Asdrubal Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo, and Travis Hafner for the Tribe here in the bottom of the third. Max Scherzer with a fastball strike. Cabrera shoots it out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Tapper back to the mound his first time up. And he is out looking. 2 strikeouts for Scherzer, 1 down here in the third. Well, thanks to the Indians' home run barrage in the series opener, we are over $7,000 now raised for the Gathering Place this year. Great Clips donates $50 per dinger. Rick and I are each making a donation as well. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about the Gathering Place. They help individuals and family members who are battling cancer, and they do this with programs offered free of charge from 2 locations, one in Beechwood, one in Westlake. Scherzer off the mound. The grab, no play. Choo with a bunt single with 1 out here in the third. He is now 2 for 2.
Well, why not take it? They're playing him back. They're going to give it to him. So, Choo has tried this a couple of times, but this time he just makes sure you put the ball down. There's no chance for Inge. He's way back off the line. And it's almost like, hey, you're doing us a favor if you bunt the way you're swinging the bat. So go ahead. We'll give you the single. They do, and Choo takes it.
Travis Hafner singled just inside the bag at third, his first time up.
And Choo was off and running on that pitch, so we'll see if maybe he has an idea of the move of Scherzer to take off again.
Hafner fouls it back. Choo has 22 steals to lead the team. Lob throw over. Choo was diving back in. 20 homers, 22 steals this year for Shin-Soo Choo. It's down low to Hafner. If you're wondering, by the way, Hafner is now 1 stolen base shy of his career high.
Hafner.
Remember, he got that steal, I think it was was it this homestand or was it the last homestand? You weren't sure initially because it didn't look like they were holding him on necessarily.
Yeah, I got you. Kansas City
Royal Series, yeah.
Kansas City series.
Got his 2nd steal of the year. He uses the element of surprise, he says. Runner at first with 1 out here in the home half of the third. Scherzer, 45 pitches so far today. 29 of those have been strikes. In off the dish, 2-2. Jackson, the center fielder, really shading Hafner the other way toward left center. Big gap in right center field. Almost chased after it. They appeal. He did not go, and the count goes full.
Well, we want to send out our best wishes for a speedy recovery to Gene Janesco.
Well, let's see if Choo is taking off here on this 3-2 pitch.
Why not? Go ahead and take off. Early in the game.
He goes. Hafner fouls it away. Well, Tommy Bowe, quick with the fingers on the computer, looked it up. Your first 2 years, 75, 76. 19 steals and 16 steals, respectively. You were over 60% success rate.
Yeah, that's not good. 60%.
63 and 62%.
That's bad. So usually, you got to be 75%. But that's learning. You know, that's not knowing pitchers, and learning counts.
Hafner with a fly ball deep to right. Bosch is back, looking up, gone to Souvenir City. Travis Hafner, his 13th home run of the year. A 2-run blast here in the third, and the Tribe draws first blood. They lead it 2-0. Well, Hafner having a pretty strong series here against the Detroit Tigers. The big 3-run homer in the series opener, a 2-run shot here today.
Well, you always love to get that long ball. Hafner looked like he picked on a breaking ball, maybe a cutter inside that he ropes into right field. And this ball was on the line. Gets out of here in a hurry. So Hafner, with his 13th home run, spots the Indians a 2-0 lead.
And now Matt Laporta. Jammed, pops it up to the second baseman. 2 down. And that'll bring up Trevor Crowe. Trevor Crowe struck out his first time up. Travis Hafner now with 50 runs driven in on the year. Popped him up. Brandon Inge, third baseman. Just inside the line. And the inning is over. But Travis Hafner's 2-run dinger as the Tribe in front 2-0. Late afternoon start to this doubleheader. Traditional old-style twin bill, Indians and Tigers, after they were rained out last night. Indians lead at 2-0. Ryan Rayburn, Don Kelly, and Johnny Peralta for Detroit here in inning number 4. Rayburn struck out his first time up, 2 for 6 in the series. Nothing and 2 the count. 34 out of 50 for strikes so far for Mitch Talbot, and that's a good sign, Rick, to see him pounding the strike zone.
Well, that's been his problem. You know, he was about a ball-to-strike ratio for the first 3-4 innings, you know, last few of his starts until he settled in. You know, he fell behind early, then really had to battle just to stay around the ball game. But, you know, that first half when he was rolling, he would come out and command the fastball. And everything works off of that.
Up the middle it goes, and a bouncing ball is through. 4th hit today for Detroit.
Well, you can get a behind-the-scenes tour of Progressive Field. The tour will include a view of the press box, bullpen, dugout, the batting cages, out to Heritage Park, and also the visitors' clubhouse. Tickets available at Indians Team Shops or Indians.com.
There's a drive pretty well hit to center. Back goes Brantley, and he is there to grab it. 1 away. One on, one out now for Johnny Peralta. Fan Sports Time Ohio is your new home for MAC football. Saturday, October 9th at 3:30 p.m. The Akron Zips visit Kent State. It's homecoming for the Golden Flashes, and the wagon wheel is on the line. For all the latest news on MAC athletics, visit STOHD.com with links to each team and complete coverage by Mike Perry. STOHD.com is your source for MAC athletics. I remember years ago when I was working at Channel 5, I was doing a preview piece on the Akron-Kent Golden Wheel, or the Wagon Wheel game. I was over at Akron with Coach Jerry Faust, who was such a great guy to be around. I mean, just had that infectious, positive attitude. Great coach at Cincinnati Moeller High School. Long fly to right. Back goes Chu. He'll grab it 2 down. I remember our photographer was just shooting practice, just, generic shots for video purposes of practice. And all of a sudden, Jerry comes screaming across the field. He's waving his arms. Matt, don't shoot this. This is a secret play we're running just for Kent.
Couldn't put it on television, huh?
I just got a big kick out of that. He's quite a character.
Secret play. I wonder if he ever used it.
I'm guessing the answer is no.
Well, he couldn't after you had it on tape.
Brennan Bosch, a base hit, his first time up back in inning number 2. Outfield straight up and deep for Bosch. Who can mash him? 14 homers on the year. This young man got off to a flying start for the Tigers, and we've talked about it, that was when they had a full arsenal in the lineup.
Right. You got Ordonez in there. You have Guillen in there, and he was down in the lineup hitting 7th. And
Cabrera was still in the middle of that lineup, too.
Well, when you have a young guy like that, and he was off to a great start, had some very big hits early. I mean, against some big teams. Then all of a sudden, guys go down, and you have to do it all on your own, and it's a little tougher.
Leadoff single does no damage. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 2-0 Cleveland. Andy Marte looks at a ball in the dirt, base hit his first time up. Home half of the fourth with the Tribe in front 2-0 thanks to Travis Hafner's 2-run homer in the third. There's a strike, 1-1. Squib foul just past Sandy Alomar down at first. Slider going to take over the camera operating here.
Where's the?
Let's hope not.
Why not? He's been around long enough. I'm sure he knows how to do it.
That I highly doubt. Now the 2-2. Missed inside, full count. Here's the wind and the payoff pitch. And Marte shoots it high in the air, foul out of play. Popped up. This one's in play. Kelly, the first baseman. One away here in the fourth.
Well, 2011 spring training, believe it or not, is right around the corner. And you can plan your trip now to see the Tribe in beautiful Goodyear, Arizona. Just call 1-800-872-1749 or log on to goodyearaz.gov for all the information.
Luis Valbuena fly to right in his first at bat. Max Scherzer, 60 pitches now in the afternoon, and that one misses outside to even the count. Strike two called, 1 ball, 2 strikes, with 1 out here in the fourth inning. Every once in a while you can see with Scherzer that fastball just really takes off on him. I don't know if it's...
Maybe he tried to overthrow that. He wanted to go inside on that pitch. I was watching him because he's starting to use that fastball and he's using it nicely. That one I think he overthrew it.
Hit on the ground to short. Backhanded. Peralta long throw. Not in time. Valbuena able to beat it out for an infield single.
Well, I think Peralta got him the other day. Didn't he? Did. It was Valbuena on a beautiful play, but not this time. Valbuena can look back and he can wink at him and say, I got you this time. Because this one he gets rid of it as quickly as he could. Just couldn't get enough on the throw, and it gave Valbuena time to beat it out. So that is the 6th hit, and 5 of those 6 have come off left-handed bats. Chu and Hafner both have 2 apiece, and now Valbuena gets the 5th one.
Now here's Luke Carlin, grounded to second his first time up. Two balls and no strikes. Well, after last night, just about everything in baseball is decided, with the exception of a couple of races. The National League West and the wild card.
That's right.
And then the American League Eastern Division crown. Tampa Bay with just a half-game lead over the Yankees in the East. 3 balls and a strike. How unfortunate, though, down in Tampa with that great team they've had all season long, and they still can't draw any fans.
Yeah, well, they're giving away, 20,000 tickets tonight.
How about that? You have to give away 20,000 free tickets.
It's amazing.
After you just clinched the division. 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah. They're talking about it, and some of the guys that are saying something are taking some abuse, but they weren't being malicious about it. They were just saying, hey, man, we're out there, we're playing hard, and we're amazed that more people aren't coming to the game.
Evan Longoria, basically, I think the term he used, Rick, was we're confused. We don't understand, with all we've done, why there aren't more people here.
Other teams go down there. We say it ourselves. You go down there, and you see what they draw for a game, whether it's a weekend. And the other day when the Yankees were in town, they have 24,000 people. And, I mean, it's for the division title on the line, and they had 24,000. You're thinking, my goodness, that is strange. But, Florida, they don't draw. I don't care if it's Miami, if it's where they're located in St. Pete. They're not going to draw.
1-0 pitch to Brantley. Up high. Well, and people, can use all the excuses out there, the economy and this. Well, the economy's bad in Philly, too.
Economy's bad a lot of places. I mean, if you like winning baseball, that wouldn't happen many places, I wouldn't think. When you had, they had a great year.
94 wins. That's a tremendous year for the Rays, but now the 2-0. And who knows what the future holds for them. With Crawford being a free agent, and that
I think this is their last. Really, I'm not saying it's their last year they're going to win by any means, because they have a very good team. But I think to win it all and to keep this team that they have together with Crawford, with Pena, with Soriano, the closer that they never had.
Yeah.
Because I think all those guys will become free agents because they are going to cut payroll next year.
They've already talked about it. That ownership, they're hemorrhaging.
They said they
money.
have to,
yeah.
and 71, and they have to because you can see what they're drawing. I really believe this is their last legitimate shot at it, and that they have to get after it.
Speaking of getting after it, here's Michael Brantley with a 2-2 pitch. And he lines it towards center field. Jackson got a great break, makes the catch, and he'll double up Valbuena to end the inning. Luis just took off thinking Jackson wasn't going to catch it, but he forgot that guy has great wheels. So that runs the Indians out of the fourth, 2-zip Cleveland. McDonald's. Get a new Chicken McNuggets party pack. 50 Chicken McNuggets for just $9.99. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Paninis.
Paninis. Visit any of our 18 locations in Northeast Ohio, now including Twinsburg. Fifth inning here in downtown Cleveland. 2-zip Tribe thanks to Travis Hafner's 2-run homer in the third. Brandon Inge, Alex Avila, and Austin Jackson will bat for the Tigers here in inning number 5. Talbot the wind and the pitch, and it's a little bit outside for ball 1. Strike called. Evens the count at 1-1. Ooh, drilled him right in the middle of the back. And Inge will take his base to start the 5th.
Not much you could do there to get out of the way. Just spin, turn, and just, oh, got him in the butt. At least it had some padding.
Alex Avila now steps in, fly to left his first time up. You know, you look back on the long season now, Rick, and you think, what a pleasant surprise Mitch Talbot turned out to be. When we went to spring training, we didn't really know much about him. He came from Tampa in the Kelly Shoppach trade. He'd made a handful of big league appearances, mostly in relief.
Right.
And this guy, for the first half of the season, was dynamite.
Well, they said they knew he was going to be on the team, you know, coming out of spring training, and that was going through the process in spring training. But, you know, once he got into the rotation, he surprised everybody. But he found out how long that year is. A couple of injuries. He had an oblique problem and then a strained muscle in his back the second time around. And he's had a terrible second half. Only one win since, 2 wins from June 27th. And he went 10 straight starts where he didn't have a win. So, you know, he put together a good first half. Now he knows what it's like. I mean, he's going to have to go through next year and get himself ready for a 32-start season.
The only way to prepare for it is to go through it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he fared well. I mean, when you look at him, the times, remember he was coming up and he was getting a lot of wins after Indians' losses early in the year. He was the one guy that was able to step up.
I mean, it would be great that if in the minor leagues you could build yourself to the point where when you made the transition to the big leagues, you were ready to do that. But the fact of the matter is the minor league season is a full month shorter. And in most cases, you don't go deep enough into games to.
You don't face the hitters you face up here.
Well, that too.
I mean, you go down there. This.
But I'm just
innings
talking
up here are maximized with good hitters.
Yeah, and in the strain you put on your arm, I suppose, in the innings, you know, what they call about the stressful pitches. I mean, it's a whole different deal.
Yes, it is. I mean, you're up here facing a lineup in the American League with a designated hitter. There's not an easy team. I don't care where you go. Even a soft-hitting team like Seattle or, let's say, the worst offensive ball club, if you make mistakes, can hurt you.
3-2 pitch, runner goes, and it's lined to right field. Chu going to make the catch. He's going to
double
turn,
play.
Fire to first, and they got him. A double play. Shin-Soo Choo, as soon as that ball left the bat, was thinking double play all the way. And it was a close play at first. It's not like Inge was dilly-dallying, but he hustled back in, still couldn't beat it.
Inge did a good job as far as a base runner. He's off and running. He picks up the baseball, and it was hit right on the nose by Avila. But you know what? With this guy's arm in right field, forget about it. This guy has a cannon, and he gets Inge, and he did a terrific job. Watch him stop, picks it up, and he says he knows he's got to get back because of Chu. Beautiful play, another assist. Leads the league in that department. He is, in my opinion, the best throwing out right fielder in the game today, at least in this league. Can you think anybody better?
I was just going
I know
through
one
it.
guy that has a great arm that we saw here. It was Jose Bautista. He played third base and also some right field, and he had a couple of good throws.
Yeah, he's truly a versatile player.
Nick Markakis in Baltimore's got a good arm.
There's a guy.
And he plays that wall in right field in Baltimore very well.
Good breaking ball. He locks up Jackson. 4 Ks for Talbot. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Cleveland 2, Detroit nothing. Sports Time Ohio's Ed Nemi.
He's sitting with all his buddies.
Look at him hanging out there with all his friends.
He wanted to get out of the office. There he is.
He's entertaining.
Yes, he is himself. He's probably talking to himself,
too. Boy, Ed. Hope you ordered a big spread. Oh, as Drupal Cabrera looks belt high strike to even the count at 1-1. No, there's nowhere to hide.
Unless he wants to go back underneath.
Ball inside. Well, I suppose Katrina has to work, and Riley, maybe he's in school.
Yeah, it was an early game.
Oh, he does have another friend, and it's Mike Roche. What do you know about that?
And he's the one eating.
Cabrera draws a walk. And the Indians had their leadoff man aboard for the second time today.
All right, the day after Thanksgiving, mark it on your calendar because Progressive Field is going to transform into a winter wonderland. Over 150 tons of snow will be made each day. Families, you can come on down and you can go snow tubing, ice skating, much, much more. It'll be something for everybody, and it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. And now the tubing will start at the top of the bleachers, will come down to second base. And you know what? It looks like it's going to be a ball.
And all of a sudden, Max Scherzer's kind of lost it here, so out goes Alex Avila. Our buddy Dale Milano contacting us through Facebook, as so many people have done all season long. Ichiro Suzuki, obviously a great arm in right field.
Yeah, we're not forgetting him. Just can't name everybody at once.
But Ichiro, Markakis, Shin-Soo Choo. That has to be 1, 2, and 3, I would think, of the arms in right field in the American League.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, that's pretty much every position because a lot of guys, a lot of outfielders, they don't throw like they used to.
Well, once again, Rick Knapp, maybe it's a mechanical adjustment. He seemed to detect a flaw in the first inning. And Scherzer responded by striking out Trevor Crowe to get out of the jam.
No, he's getting to the part of the lineup now that's hurt him. Chu and Hafner. They're both 2 for 2.
And with that, the Tiger bullpen is starting to scramble and get busy, Rick. Well, Chu had to base hit through the hole on the right side in the first, and then he dropped down a bunt in the third. And Brandon Inge still not sold that Chu will bunt again. He's off the line and back at third base.
Well, right now, yeah, 2-0 lead. You're not base runners. He's going for the big fly.
Chu batting average right at 300 now on the year. Strike called outside edge. Comes back to even it up at 2-2 after falling behind 2-0.
Whatever the pitching coach told him, man, he comes out and he's responded. You know, and pitching coaches, a lot of times they don't want to have to go out, but if they see something and they go out and they can tell you and it gets you back into gear, it certainly helps. I know how many times we talk to a pitching coach after he goes out, talks to somebody and either gives up a home run or, you know, they get 2 or 3 consecutive hits. They hate that.
Well, I'm sure pitching coaches have a great feel for who's on the hill, and there are some guys they just don't even think about going out to talk to. They don't want to bother him at all. Down and in.
Good
He
pitch.
almost chased after it, but held up. Full
that was
count.
a good pitch. So Cabrera, go ahead and start running, and he does. Chu does hold up, but that's that slider down and in after he pumps a couple of fastballs by him. Chu was able to check it. Cabrera will be off.
3-2 pitch. Cabrera does run. Chu drives it deep right center field. Bosch racing back. It is gone. Chu with his 21st homer of the year. It's the Indians' second 2-run tater in the afternoon, and they now lead it 4-0. Boy, both home runs, Rick, not the high, majestic type home runs, but
Line
balls
drives
that were just smashed.
Well, this one was smoked. This one there, out over the plate. Tried to get him to chase that slider down and in. He gets a fastball. Chu hits his 21st home run. And the long ball has propelled this offense. Both the home runs given up by Scherzer were deep in the count. The ball that Hafner hit, line drive, 2-run homer, deep in the count.
5 home runs for the Indians in the first 2 games of this series. And now Travis Hafner, his 2-run homer in the 3rd inning, got the Indians on the board first today.
That's what I thought. Both the home runs were on 3-2 pitches.
And very similar swings, too. As you talked about, the line drive approach. And a ground ball in the hole, closed by Inge, and throws him out. Boy, a fine play by Brandon Inge at third base to retire Hafner. They get him for the first time today. And that's out number 1 here in the 5th.
Well, yeah, it takes a great play, or Hafner would have been 3 for 3. Inge goes down, and you can see how far he ranges to his left, comes up and makes the spin and the throw. Good play by Inge, first out of the inning.
Swung out and missed by Matt Laporta. You know, you look at Brandon Inge, and the one thing I think of is kind of like your approach to the game when you played, and that is defense never goes in a slump. So offensively, you might not have the kind of year that people project you to have, but you can make up for it somewhat with what you do defensively.
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing that never leaves. I mean, defensively, you can get in slumps as well as offensively, but that's the one thing, boy. You can save runs. That's just like, to me, an RBI category defensively. You can save a lot of runs out there. It doesn't go on your RBI sheet. But believe me, your pitchers know it and your manager knows it.
The 0-2 to Laporta. Pop foul out of play. And in this day and age, with the technology and the statistical analysis that we have in front offices all throughout baseball, that is something that they keep track of.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not necessarily one of those stats that's in the paper or on the sheets that, you know, we look at, but they know. range and all those defensive values, that's all taken into consideration when teams evaluate players. The line and the 0-2.
Oh.
Just missed outside. That's something that I think is being evaluated when you talk about the American League Cy Young race. Nice grab. Oh, my goodness, with the baby in hand. 1-2. Big bouncer to third. That one skips past Inge. And Matt Laporta is going to turn and head towards second. Rayburn cut it off deep down the line. And Matt Laporta with a one-out double.
Well, there's a tough play. See, Inge, he went aggressive with it. He tried to run in and get it on the short hop. I don't think he would have had a chance if he breaks back and just does not come up with it. It'll go as a double for Laporta. Second hit in the inning, and it's the 8th hit of the afternoon.
Trevor Crowe 0 for 2 today, trying to keep that hit streak alive. He's at 13 games coming in. But you know, Rick, I was saying, the American League Cy Young race is pretty hotly contested right now. And when you talk about Felix Hernandez and CC Sabathia,
Price,
David Price at Tampa, and there are some really passionate arguments among fans and even broadcasters when you listen to talk radio about, you know, does Hernandez deserve it because he only has 12 wins? But if you look deeper in the stats, and
you look deep in the stats,
and people start talking about, you know, range values and defensive values and what happens behind a guy and how much control does he have over certain elements of the game. Boy, you start breaking this stuff down statistically, and you can drive yourself nuts.
Yeah, you can. It's not the old simple, all right, who has the most wins, innings pitched, and strikeouts. It doesn't work like that anymore.
And this is one of those odd years, too, because Hernandez has such a great ERA and has, you know, the strikeouts and the innings.
Pitched, strikeouts, and I mean, you know, look how many times he pitched. Look how many runs his team got him when he pitched in his losses.
Weekly hit. Peralta out. Gives way to Rayburn. 2 away. And that will bring up Andy Marte, 1 for 2 on the day.
Well, I want to send along birthday wishes. Sam Rogers of Broadview Heights is turning 87 today. Sam, happy birthday to you. And Yvonne Faulkner of Cleveland is 33. Yvonne, happy birthday to you.
Marte almost got nipped, but gets out of the way. This is the 6th start in the month of September for Scherzer, so it's a little unusual in that a guy gets 6 starts in a month, but that's the case here with Scherzer. And in his 5 previous starts coming in today, in 38 innings of work, he'd given up 2 home runs in the month of September. And the Indians have hit him with a pair here today.
He doesn't like this ballpark. He's 0-2. I told you, both his losses coming in this ballpark with an 8.10 ERA. And those 2-run homers, very similar. Line drives.
Over near the seats. Oh, Kelly just ran out of real estate. Luckily, he pulled up before he ran headlong into the sidewall. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. The 1-2, and it's down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 down here in the 5th. Indians on top 4-0. Pop them up foul. Back into the seats it goes. Ooh. Guy took it off the chest. Tried to go for the cradle catch. Shin-Soo Choo following Travis Hafner's lead with a 2-run homer of his own here in the 5th, and the Indians on top 4-zip. Marte strikes out to end the inning, but Choo's blast has the Tribe in front by 4. Today's Mark's deep discount of the game, 34 to 35 ounce Planters peanuts, only $3.95 at any Northeast Ohio Mark's location.
So come into your nearest Mark's, where you'll find a huge selection at low prices every day.
To the 6th inning we go. The Indians lead it 4-0. Tribe trying to run their win streak to 5 in a row. Will Rhymes, Johnny Damon, and Ryan Rayburn due up for Detroit. Strike is called. Evens the count at 1-1. Mitch Talbot deals, and it's inside. 2 balls and a strike. By Marte into left. Rhymes aboard with a leadoff single. Here's our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Travis Hafner, a 2-run homer in the 3rd. Shin-Soo Choo, a 2-run homer in the 5th. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. And so far, Mitch Talbot has made it stand up. He's allowed 5 hits on the day. So far, though, the Tigers only have 1 runner to second base.
This is the 4th straight inning that they've had their leadoff man aboard. So, I mean, Detroit has gotten the first guy on, but they haven't been able to do anything with it.
Johnny Damon is 0 for 2. Is that Kelly Myers down there as well? It is. Kelly Myers, Slider, Mike Rowe, Shed Nemi.
Slider looks like he's holding court.
Damon with a fly ball to left. Back goes Crow. And he makes the catch. Rhymes retreats 1 away here in the 6th inning.
I want to send along a happy birthday wish. Happy 66th birthday to Ed Bettis, a big Indians fan of Mansfield, Ohio. Happy birthday, Ed.
Also, Rick, last night we had some birthday wishes that got rained out. So we want to make those up. Lee Nelson in Youngstown. He's in front of the TV today. He's watching the doubleheader, celebrating his 98th birthday. Even though it was last night, his party was rained out too, so he's celebrating today. Happy birthday, Lee. Also, Joe Zagantz of Batavia, Illinois, by way of Westlake, Ohio, celebrating his 40th birthday. And we've got twins in Lucas, Ohio, Nate and Emily Smolin, celebrating their 10th birthday today. So happy birthday to all.
Happy birthday to each and every one is right.
Talbot's 1-0 pitch. Line down the right field line, slicing, foul. I didn't know you could play rock, paper, scissors with Slider. I guess you can, yeah. He's got the digits for that.
He's got the digit. I certainly hope so.
Wasn't sure if he had fingers or paws. I couldn't remember. Rhymes at first with 1 out here in the 6th. Tigers down 4. 2-1 the count. Talbot just over 80 pitches on the day. 10 fly ball outs. And one of those resulted in a double play. Outfield for Rayburn, straight up. Three balls and a strike. Game 1 of a doubleheader today here at Progressive Field. Game 2 later on, featuring Josh Tomlin against Justin Verlander, who will be looking for his 19th win of the year. Out of play. You know, one other thought on the Cy Young Award race, Rick. In this, the year of the pitcher, it's probably appropriate that there is debate and discussion and that there's not just one clear-cut guy, but you've got 3 and maybe even 4 guys that merit serious consideration for the AL Cy Young Award. I mean, Verlander's no slouch.
No, not at all. 19 wins. He had 19 last year as well. You know, you get up there, then you start looking at what your team does, and Detroit was certainly there in the first half.
Runner goes. Strike 3 called. Throw to second. They got him. A double play on a strike him out, throw him out. Twin killer. Cabrera took that throw and applied the tag near the face of Rhymes, and that ends the inning. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland. Indians on top 4-zip. And this pitching change brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Jim Leyland goes to his left-hander, Brad Thomas.
Coming on for the 48th time. Pitched in, let me think what today is, Monday's game. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday with an off day.
Comes after that.
Yes, it does, usually.
And up high, ball 1 to Luis Valbuena, who was 1 for 2. Infield single his last time up. Strike caught the outside corner. Oh, my. Low bridged him in a hurry.
I thought I heard it tip something, but I guess it didn't unless it was the glove.
Yeah, it was the glove. Just got a piece of leather on it. That might arch some eyebrows.
Man, oh man, that is, you talk about low bridge. You're right. That was up around the head. You don't like that as a hitter. I'm sorry. That's just not right.
Weakly hit towards second, broke the bat. Rhymes with the backhander, throws him out, 1 away. All right, here's the answer to our AT&T trivia question. AT&T rethink possible. Well, Cecil Fielder was definitely one.
Cabrera's one of them. You know that.
And the third, Tony the Tiger.
TC. Tony Clark. Switch hitting. Big first baseman. All first baseman now that you mention it.
Up the middle. And Luke Carlin with his first hit today. Bangs a base hit right up the middle, and the Indians have a 1-out base runner now for Michael Brantley.
They'll get a fastball, stay on it, hit it right back up the box, and it gets past Thomas and into center field. Hit number 9 now for the Indians in game 1.
And Luke Carlin now 3 for 6 in the series. Top of the order, Michael Brantley 0 for 3 today. The 2-0. Missed away, 3 balls, no strikes. Three and one for Brantley. 1 on 1 out here in the 6th. Indians trying to run their win streak at home to 7 in a row against the Tigers. And a line drive to center. Jackson grabs it. 2 down.
I want to send out congratulations celebrating their 30th anniversary, Rick and Barb Sari of Astabula.
as Dribble Cabrera walked and scored ahead of Shin-Soo Chu's 2-run homer in the 5th. Early in the season, Manny Acta identified Cabrera as one of the young leaders on this Indians ball club. And his dribble got off to a very good start, but missed time when Johnny Peralta collided with him in Tampa, fracturing the forearm. But for the most part, Cabrera seemed to accept that role of trying to be a little more of a leader, whether it
That's hard to do when he doesn't have that much time in the big leagues. You know what I mean? Leaders, you got to go out and you just play every day. The thing of having a leader in that clubhouse, it's unless you have a team that plays together for quite some time, it doesn't happen that way anymore. You got to set an example by going out there day in and day out and playing.
Another throw to first.
He's afraid Carlin may steal. Speedster. I think he had, 50 steals in minor leagues in this year? It becomes, sometimes as a left-hander, you know you're going to throw over before you even come set. It's a catcher over there.
No balls and 2 strikes. Line foul. I guess the point I was trying to make about Cabrera, Rick, though, is that when a manager comes out and talks about that publicly, it's one thing to call a guy into the office and talk about it, but when you go out there and put that out there for public consumption, he seemed to really embrace that role, doing whatever he can, whether it's just talking to young players or trying to help some of the younger guys along. He didn't shy away from it.
No.
He didn't run from it. Didn't seem like he put more pressure on himself because of it either. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. That'll end the 6th. Indians on top 4-0.
Indians baseball is brought to you by AT&T. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's.
All right, 7th inning here at Progressive Field. Indians with a 4-0 lead. Sliders getting comfortable. Mitch Talbot goes back to work. He'll face Don Kelly, Johnny Peralta, Brennan Bosch. That's pitch number 85 for Mitch. Kelly 0 for 2. He has flied to left twice here today. In the dirt to even the count. High pop. Shallow right. Chu says, I'll take it. And he does. One away. Hey, let's go back to the studios for an in-game update. Al has the latest on the Atlanta Braves' pursuit of the wild card in the National League.
Matt, things looking good for Atlanta, too, here in the third inning. 4 runs are scored, 3 on this home run by Brooks Conrad. That's his 7th of the season. Atlanta ahead now behind Derek Lowe on the hill. It's 4-0 as they are in the bottom of the 4th inning over Florida. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al. Braves looking for their 3rd straight win, and they lead San Diego by a game and a half in that wild card race. San Diego 2 games in back of San Francisco in the NL West, but the Padres hit the skids here lately. They've lost 3 straight.
Well, remember, they end the season with the Giants.
Yeah.
Through the last 3 games are with San Francisco. But you certainly don't want to put yourself in a must-sweep situation, because I see where Lincecum's pitching tonight for the Giants. Not to say that they would do this, but, you know, he may be possibly ready to come back Sunday, and he's been pitching pretty well.
Foul tipped off the bat of Peralta, 1-2. Well, I think back, Rick, to 1995. Didn't Seattle do that with Randy Johnson? Pitch him on short rest just to get into the playoffs?
I'm sure they did, yes.
He pitched the one-game playoff.
Against the Yankees, wasn't there?
Well, against the Angels, but in the one-game playoff to get in. And then, he seemed like he pitched every other day in the playoffs that year. Rafael Perez heating up for the Tribe. Talbot with a 2-2 to Peralta. Off the end of the bat. Brantley flying in. He makes the running grab, 2 down. Today's Miller Taste Greatness moment on this date in 1988. Oral Hershiser. It was actually last night, technically, but Oral Hershiser breaking Don Drysdale's record for consecutive innings pitched without allowing a run. And you want to talk about a class act? Who was the first guy to meet Hershiser when he walked off the field? Don Drysdale.
Yeah.
Came down out of the broadcast booth, gave him a big hug right there on the field that day. Well, Mitch Talbot is rolling along. 7 shutout innings for the Tribe, right-handed rookie, and the Indians are on top 4-0.
Panini's. Visit any of our 18 locations in Northeast Ohio, now including Twinsburg. Visit paninisgrill.com for a location near you.
Bottom of the 7th inning here at Progressive Field.
We tried to get that Panini cam last night. Couldn't see anything. It was raining all night in the clouds. Nice view tonight.
Shin-Soo Choo, the man of the year for Cleveland. 3 for 3 here today. Couple of singles, a 2-run homer, his 21st of the year. He's now driven in 88 runs on the season.
Well, he is finishing off the year very, very hot, isn't he? Kansas City got him rolling.
And when I think back, Rick, he did not get off to a blazing start this year either.
No. No, he did not. I remember that one time. Remember, he went through a spell where he was striking out an awful lot. And then recently, he's saying he was worried about the strikeout and then went up there and said, heck with it. I'm just going to strike out and hit the ball hard. And he did. He's been hitting the long ball.
A 3-homer night in Kansas City. One we'll remember for a while.
Well, yeah, 4-homer, 10 RBI series in Kansas City. Came back the next weekend here and continued. And has been on a roll. The batting average up over 300. He has 86, or making 88 ribbies now. Over 20 stolen bases.
Got him to wave at that pitch. One down here in the home half of the 7th. Earlier today in the 3rd inning, Travis Hafner got the Tribe on the board. Hanging breaking ball, and Travis hit it a long way on a line drive. His 13th home run of the year gives him 50 runs batted in on the season. Curve in for a strike. Speaking of curves, we're going to see a good one here tonight because Justin Verlander has not only a tremendous fastball that has been clocked in the upper 90s up to 100 miles an hour at times, but he's also got a dazzling curveball.
Yeah, he features everything. Good changeup. And he'll be gunning for number 19, and he had 19 last year, so you know he'll want to get it.
The 1-1. Swung on and missed. Jensen Lewis heating up in the Indians bullpen. Looks like we'll see him in the 8th inning. Breaking ball, and what a play by Rhymes. He reached up and stole a hit from Hafner.
Well, Hafner could be 4 for 4. You remember Inge took him from a base hit in his last at-bat. This one hit right on the nose. Timed perfectly by Rhymes. Catches it and gets the second out. He hangs a breaking ball to Hafner, and he smokes it.
So 2 down now for Matt Laporta, who doubled in the 5th. Two down. Laporta doubled his last time up. And the 0-1 is popped in the air. Shallow right center. And the right fielder, Bosch, makes the grab at the last moment. Indians go 1, 2, 3. We go to the 8th for Zip Cleveland.
by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
4-zip Indians on top as we go now to the 8th inning here at Progressive Field. Our pitching matchup brought to you by the G Series from Gatorade. 3 fuels, 3 stages of the game. Gatorade has evolved. That's G. Wow, what a job by Mitch Talbot. 7 shutout innings here today, and the Indians got the Scherzer with the long ball.
Well, they did. Scherzer had a couple of full counts, and both those home runs were hit off the full count. And where Mitch Talbot had 4 full counts, he got 6 outs because he had a couple of double play balls involved there.
Jensen Lewis for the 36th time this year. 4 up, 2 down, 3.15 ERA. He'll face Brandon Inge, Alex Avila, Austin Jackson here in the 8th. And a routine bouncer to third. Andy Marte throws him out, 1 down. Well, Rick, it's a long season of baseball, and we are fortunate that we work with some of the best production people in the game here at Sports Time Ohio. And we want to pay tribute to many of the folks who work here on a nightly basis. Our camera operators, folks, I'm telling you, we travel around. They are lauded around the country as some of the best in the business. Brian McDermott, Kerry Kems, Gene Anderson, Mark Shapiro, Chris Madden, who we saw a moment ago, Frank Schubert, John Gorsica, Joe Gamallo, Jimmy Orak, even Joe Bertoni. He makes that list, too.
He does?
There's Johnny.
There's
up
Johnny
underneath.
G. There's Mark. Marky Mark. I didn't see little Joe. Where's he?
Well, he was here. I saw him rolling around earlier. But, you know, these guys, they put their heart and soul into each and every one of these games. They stand out there in the elements, whether it's raining, snowing, the blazing heat and the bitter cold of April, and they do a tremendous job, and we thank each and every one of them for their commitment and dedication to Indians baseball here on Sports Time Ohio.
Yeah, especially when they give foul balls to the fans like Kerry did.
He's a man of the people.
Yes, he is.
Swing and a foul ball. And it doesn't just end with those folks as well, but, you know, Robert Benny, Igor Klobas, Mark Wadowski, Dave Ross, Johnny Scrata, they help out throughout the course of the season as well. The set by Lewis. And the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He rings him up. Jackson out looking on strikes for the 2nd time today.
And we showed you those cameramen because when you come to the game, keep your eyes on them because you never know. You may always be on camera. They don't miss a beat.
The eyes in the sky always find it.
The eyes are watching, always.
Jensen Lewis deals, and a strike is called. Not to mention the guys who travel with us and work in the truck and in the studio. Technical director Danny Larson, Bill Schnack, who rolls out the audio for us every day. Mike Pachta, Mike Simon, Steve Bardo, Bob Zink, Mike Grignon here at Progressive Field, Don Mitchell. Of course, the guys in the big chairs, Jim Murphy, Pat Murray.
The big chairs.
Anything goes wrong, we
I
blame
want to
them.
get a shot over at the studio right now. I heard they got a pizza party going on.
Here's the 0-2, a little bit outside. Mark Koha does a tremendous job on the staff as well. And then, of course, you've got Bob Zink and his son Lance Zink. So, I mean, it's a generational program we're running here now. Here's the set on the 1-2. Popped in the air. Shallow left center. It's Crow making the catch. And the inning is over. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Tribe in command, 4-zip. Indians with a 4-zip lead over Detroit. As we move along now to the bottom of the 8th inning, 3rd inning of relief work for Brad Thomas. The left-hander stays on. He'll face Trevor Crowe, Andy Marte, and Luis Valbuena. First of a scheduled doubleheader here at Progressive Field. Be about a 20-minute break between games, and then we'll come right back with Game 2 right here on Sports Time Ohio. Trevor Crowe 0 for 3. And a strike call to the outside part of the plate.
Well, this should be his last chance to try and keep that streak going.
Johnny Peralta waits on the hop, throws him out, and it looks like that streak of 13 games with a hit will come to an end for Trevor Crowe. Andy Marte 1 for 3 on the afternoon comes to the plate. A few more folks to thank during this season of Indians baseball on Sports Time Ohio. Jeff Rowland, Joel Trent, Matt Weber. They also do a great job helping out back in the studio and in the trucks. John Kubankin, Mike Tonjes. And then, of course, there are the guys here in the booth who really don't need thanked, but we'll thank them anyway.
Don't need
2 down. Oh, I'm just kidding. Gary Coach, our stage manager, and, of course, Tom Boshenik and his trusty sidekick, Jeff Gears, who fills in occasionally, helping us out on stats. Coach, of course, the longtime stage manager. And Tommy Bowe crunching the numbers.
And also Popper comes over here and helps out, too.
John Creepop.
John Creepop. Can't forget him.
So thanks to each and every one of them. Ooh, hell, there's John Creepop.
Yeah, he's looking up there. Oh, they got me again?
It's a good look for you.
It is. Now look at he's acting busy.
Oh, man.
He might be one of the best. We get him to announce it's a rain delay coming. Can I have your attention, please? Attention, media. We are in a rain delay because it's raining.
He's a stickler for the details. 2 down for Valbuena, 1 for 3. And Luis waves at it. 1-2 the count. Now the set. And the 1-2 pitch. And he went too far. So Brad Thomas, 3 scoreless innings of relief for Detroit. But we go to the 9th with the Tribe on top 4-0. Go to the ninth inning, and Vinny Pistano picked up his first major league save earlier on the homestand. Will come on to try and finish this game off here in the ninth. He'll have to face Johnny Damon, Ryan Rayburn, and Don Kelly.
All right, my cousin Vinny coming on for the third time. He's throwing the ball well, getting an opportunity. Talbot looking to hold on for the win. That'll put him into double digits. And it'll make him 10 and 15. Should they hold it? Everything remains the same defensively. So Johnny Damon coming up. He's 0 for 3. Blew out the left field twice. Struck out once. Jensen Lewis went his one inning, gave up a hit, and had a strikeout.
Vinny Pistano misses up high with ball one to Johnny Damon. Well, at the very least, Rick, this brief experience here at the big league level for Vinny Pistano sends him to spring training next year, at least with a little more confidence, a little more pep in his step to say, hey, I've been to the big leagues. I've closed out a game before.
Well, I think a lot of these guys are going to get an opportunity, but as they climb the ladder this year, a lot of guys had opportunities to play at 2, even 3 different levels. So, their confidence is going to grow, and anybody that gets an opportunity to get up here and appear in a game and provide some help certainly should help them.
Valbuena grabs the pop-up off the bat of Damon, one away. Again, the Indians are not in a position where they're going to guarantee anybody a job next year. They're not going to go out and say, well, this guy's going to have a job in our bullpen or in our rotation, but I think what we have seen is they will have some pretty good competition, and they will have opportunities, which is all you can ask for as a young player, such as a Vinny Pistano. At least he goes to spring training next year knowing he'll at least have an opportunity to, if not win a job, to open eyes, to let people know, hey, I want to be your first option if you need help.
Absolutely.
Now the 1-0. Caught the outside corner. Stay tuned for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show. Comes your way right after we wrap things up. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have about a 20-minute or so break between games. That's the standard.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Depending by the time they get off there. And, it's going to put us, if this goes quickly, right on schedule where I would say we'd be starting maybe a little bit before 7 o'clock.
Line drive center field, a base hit. Rayburn is aboard with one out for Don Kelly, who is 0 for 3. Up high for ball one. Pitch is outside, 2-0 the count on Don Kelly. 0 for 3 here today. All 3 times he's hit the ball in the air. Good pitch in for a strike, 2-1.
Detroit only has 1 hit with anybody on base. They're 1 for 12. That came back in the 2nd inning.
There's a drive to center. Brantley will grab it. 2 down. Johnny Peralta 1 for 3. Here's the batter. Peralta singled his first time up. Since then, he has flied to right, flied to center. 3 for 7 in the series. And it's outside for ball 1. Pistano delivers, and it's wide of the mark. Vinny Pistano out of Cal State Fullerton. Was the Indians' 20th round pick in 06. Now the 2-1. And Peralta shoots it back to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 down in the 9th with a runner aboard. And the Indians on top 4-0. Right back. Peralta stays alive. Indians trying to close to within 1 game of Detroit in the season series. If they can hang on here, the 2-2. Swung on and missed. He got him. Vinny Pistano finishes off a 4-0 shutout of the Detroit Tigers here this afternoon in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Mitch Talbot gets his 10th win of the year. 10-13 now on the season for Talbot. Max Scherzer suffers the loss for Detroit. He is now 12-11 on the season. With the win, the Indians are now 67-91 on the year. Detroit drops to 80-77 on the season. Indians have now beaten the Tigers 7 straight times. They are 7-1 here at home against Detroit this year. Time now for the play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank. Switch to Key and get a free Sony Bloggy. Visit key.com/bloggy for details.
Well, the Indians had a couple opportunities today on the double play. One was from Chu going back to first base after Inge was off and running on a nice play, and a strike him out, throw him out double play to complete the other end of that. That happened in the 5th and the 6th innings, and it was a big play, and it was the key play, the KeyBank key play of the game for Mitch Talbot.
Stick around. We're coming right back with the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show next.